Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. So, while I'm waiting for my other friends to join in, let me welcome you. Today is January 21, Sunday, and I'm from New York. It's Anna, one of your hosts from DNP Unlocked, an immigrant nursing talk show. Later on, I'm going to change it to Anna's DNP Unlocked. I'm joking. So, anyway, how time flies, everyone. Today is the third Sunday of January 2024, and we have an exciting topic. First time ever in DNP Lock that we're going to have to do. We are going to talk about case studies, about immigration fraud. That's something new to us, very exciting. It's going to be a one memorable show. So for those who are watching, please share. Good morning, Miss Karen. And of course, good morning to my husband, Ryan Cruz, for always supporting and watching. Please don't forget to share, tag your friends. You don't want to be a victim of one of these case studies. It's going to be helpful for your journey in achieving your American dream. Keep sharing. Give me 1 minute. Okay, here's Dr. Nurse Paul. Good
Good
morning, Dr.
morning, good
Nurse Paul.
morning, Anna. How are you?
I'm doing great. So
Good
excited.
morning, everyone, and welcome to DNP Unlocked. And today we're going to talk about immigration case studies. Anna, this is a second part of the show that we did last week, immigration fraud. So today we're going to talk about different case studies inspired by the nurses that we've talked to in the past. All right, we are not going to divulge personal information, and some stories may have been changed a little bit for the purpose of the show. But these case studies that we're going to present today are kind of based, inspired by true stories. So we're going to see if that's considered a fraud, a trafficking, or maybe that's not a fraud. Maybe that's just a labor issue. Even then, it would still be vital for nurses to know about these things, right, Anna?
Exactly. And like what I said last week when we were talking about immigration fraud versus human trafficking, it came on the right moment. We were just talking about this, and we received a lot of messages about it. Immigrant nurses or future USRN are very interested to learn, am I gonna be a victim? How to avoid being a victim? Because like what you said last week, Dr. Nurse Paul, nurses doesn't know that they are a victim of immigration fraud or human trafficking. And last night again, I received a lot of messages about this. Like they're also excited to hear first time a case study that we're gonna talk about. I mean, do you know any talk show or information about this? None. So I never answered your question last night. I told them to watch us today with Nurse Pay on the way. I'm so excited. I'm in school right
Right, right,
now, so
right.
another thing
And
fun.
right. And I mean, this is a very nursing way to do it, but I think I love case studies, especially, NCLEX, as NCLEX educators. That's what we do now in Next Gen NCLEX. But also for nurses, I think it's also really good for us to understand immigration fraud with examples via case studies format. Anyway, for those who are watching us, we have a lot of viewers today. This is part two. Last week, last Sunday, it's uploaded in my YouTube and Facebook channel at Dr. Nurse Paul. We've talked about immigration fraud. We've defined immigration fraud. We've cited some examples. Today, we're going to talk about case studies, different cases inspired by true stories. So, guys, join us in the comment section. We are monitoring our comment section right now. If you guys can join us through the comment section, tell us where you're from, where you're watching from, and We're gonna mention it online or live. We have Karen. She's watching. She said, "Good morning, Nurse Anna." We have Rai. Hello, Rai. Thank you for being our number one fan and Anna's number one fan. Hello, Pia. Good morning, Anna and Paul. And we have Karen here as well. Good morning, Dr. Nurse Paul. And tell us, guys, where you're coming from so we can mention it in the comment section. We're also streaming live not only in Facebook, but we're also streaming this live in my LinkedIn channel and also in my YouTube channel. So if you're in my LinkedIn channel or YouTube channel watching right now, say hi. All right. And good morning, Miss Anna, Doc Paul, watching from Biliran, Philippines. Maddie, thanks for joining us. Ludith, thanks for joining us. So today we're going to talk about case studies, but we're still waiting for Kay.
Of course, we cannot go without her.
Right, right. And then, of course, we would like to remind everybody again, disclaimer at the bottom of your screen, we are not immigration lawyers and we are not providing legal advices, legal services. It would still be best to consult your lawyers if you are a victim of immigration fraud. There are available online resources in USCIS, travel.state.gov, Department of Justice. If you are a victim of labor issues or safety issue in your workplace, you have OSHA and your local labor department in your state. So please reach out to them. Do not hesitate to report abusive employers or immigration fraud. This is a federal offense. Do not be a victim of these. We are not immigrant lawyers. We do not provide legal services. Everything that we're saying here today is based on our experience, and this should not be used as a legal evidence or something for your cases. All right, so consult a lawyer. All right, but it doesn't mean we're also not informed nurses. We are very much informed. We research, we interact with nurses, particularly in our Facebook group. Was a member of Lefora, our Facebook group, me, Anna, and Kay, that we administer. We've talked to tons of nurses over the years that I am an admin of that group. We've grown to 210,000 members already, probably 212,000, right, from the last time we checked. But we constantly, on a daily, we still hear nurses that are being victims of immigration fraud and so many other frauds. To be honest, it's, scams are everywhere. I could go on and talk about different scams, but immigration fraud is one of those big things that we advocate for. DNP Unlocked. We don't want our immigrant nurses coming over here and thinking they're going to be fulfilling their American dream, but they get abused, they get human trafficked. We don't want that. All right. And here in DNP Unlocked, we talk about uncomfortable things, all right, that people don't want to talk about, the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about. And one of these is immigration fraud. Again, this is based on true stories, and we're going to see the case studies in a little bit. We have Matt saying immigration fraud can we report to DMW? You can as well. For Filipinos, you have DMW. All right, that's a department in the Philippines for migrant workers, right? But that's for Philippines. So their jurisdiction ends on the shores of the Philippines, if that makes sense. They could not pursue American companies. They probably could solicit help of American agencies, but they will not be able to sue American companies because American companies operate in the US. So, cases are jurisdiction based as well. So it might not hold water. Yes, you can still approach them because they can ban those agencies from transacting in the Philippines or can hire nurses from the Philippines. But with online streaming today, they can hire from the comforts of their homes or businesses
Yeah.
from US, and they just go live stream and give you a link and get your information and hire you from there. They don't even have to go to the US. So yes, they work. All right, it helps. We've actually invited in my future shows Miss Angela at the time that she was still the
Mhm.
liaison here in Washington D.C. for now DMW. Um, but yes, they might still be able to point you to resources and help you out. All right. If you're a victim of immigration fraud, please report anonymously in USCIS and Department of Justice. They have online tools so you can report it anonymously. All right. And seek a lawyer. All right. You can sue your employer and get damages and get financial damages, right? For whatever they cost. They might be able to pay you back for the times that you could not work because of the fraud. All right. But please do not be victims. Nurses, we are smarter than that. All right. How about the others? Where are you guys watching from? Rona is joining from Dubai. Marl is joining from Cebu. We're actually trying to kill time. We're 11 minutes in because we're still waiting for our co-host Kay.
The
Gabriel is
mother
watching us
of
from Canada, the mother of the year. Which part of Canada? Karen is joining us from Taytay Rizal. Very nice. Thank you guys. We're all over the world today, and thank you for following Dr. Nurse Paul. Thank you for following Nurse Anna, Travel Nursing Hacker K. Thank you for continuing to watch DNP Unlocked. If you guys can do me a favor, follow me in YouTube and go check those past shows that we did. This is episode number. What episode number are we, Anna? This is
16.
episode number 16. We've done
Yeah.
13 shows last year and three more shows since the start of the year. We've talked about a lot of immigration basics. So if you're new here in the States, if you are just barely coming here to the States, or you want to start with your American dream, we provided a lot of resources through the DNP Unlocked free podcasts in my YouTube channel. You actually can pick one topic that interests you and share it to your friends. Tag your friends, post it in Facebook, put that link in your Facebook, and do a watch party with your friends. But we've talked about so many things. A lot of these things that we're talking about online are things that we get as questions. All right. And if you have questions or you want your story to be featured in DNP Unlocked, kindly email me. We're going to flash my email below. All right. It's info@drnursepaul.com. That's my email, info@drnursepaul.com. We do not provide legal services. We're not asking for payments. But if you have questions, we might be able to send you resources or ask for help. All right. I'm a huge advocate of immigrant nurses. I'm also a board of directors for Siena, Society of Internationally Educated Nurses. I'm policy committee chair, and we have connections with lawyers and stuff like that. We might be able to help you. All right. But I want to hear your stories. But we're not only featuring bad stories here, we're also featuring success stories. So please share your stories. We can invite you. You can send videos, or we can anonymously share your story. It might be something unique that other people can learn from. We want you to be part of DNP Unlock, because the DNP Unlock is not all about me, Kay, and Anna. It's all about all of you guys that are continuing to support us. So thank you for supporting DNP Unlock.
And like what I always say, Paul, create the future you want by being informed, by learning all of the things that you have to learn before you achieve your American dream. I mean, nowadays, nurses are very fortunate enough because we have Dr. Nurse Paul, we have Kay, we have DNP Unlocked. I mean, you get free information. Well, 16 years ago, way back, when I was starting my American dream, I don't even know where to go, who to ask. You know, no one is guiding me or telling me the personal experience. But right now, we have DNP a lot. Make the most out of it. It's every Sunday. If you miss the show, you can always go back to the Corner School YouTube channel. And in the Aura and in Facebook, information nowadays are available and we're everywhere. Make use of your time if you're waiting because of retrogression. I mean, this is free. Where can you get a free information with new sugar coding? I mean, like what you said, it's not all about a success story, but also the reality and the big elephant that everyone is running away from. So,
Right.
I, we have 80, 69, or 74 watching us
Watch it.
right now.
We've actually reached 85 for a bit. But I know we have watchers from viewers. Ludith is joining us from South Carolina. How's the weather over there? It's 36 degrees here in Houston, and I cranked up my temperature, so it's now hot in my house. But I'm drinking coffee and have 3 layers of clothes, so now I have to
We have
put it back
17
out
degrees
because
here,
it's
but
kind of
there's
cold.
fall.
Uh, Thank you. It's why I chose the South because I could do the cold. I'm not good with a cold. I'm always in sympathetic responses. Anyway, but Judith is joining us from South Carolina, USA. Thank you, Judith. This will be interactive, so please join us and help us dissect if you think it's also immigration fraud. We have Arnell watching us from Minnesota. Did I say it correctly? Emin is Minnesota, right? It couldn't be Mississippi because there's no N in Mississippi or Missouri. So that could be
Hey,
Minnesota.
Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone. Good
Good morning.
afternoon. Good evening. Sorry, I ran out because running late because there was a roadblock. As you know, we here in Northeast Coast. We really got hit. Good amount of snow. So I love it, but I don't like it when there's roadblock.
Right, right, right. Do you guys
but
drive with chains on your studs on your on your tires?
no, my Tesla's still alive. It didn't get. It didn't die.
Woohoo! Way to go to Tesla owners.
but I have charged 3 times already this week, which I
Right,
usually
right.
don't. So but I
Yeah.
charge extra. But we all know that this happens. I'm not promoting any. There's a pros and cons for everything. I still kept my combustion car, because
Yes.
this is something that you need to have, extra. But anyway, good morning, everyone. At least I'm here. I made it back without having a
95
dead
viewers.
matter.
95 viewers, 111 viewers as of this time. Thank you, guys. Guys, please join us in the comment section. We're going to talk about case studies and help us dissect
Yeah,
if the cases that
yeah,
we're going to present today, you tell us your
yeah,
opinions as well. You think it's fraud? You think it's not? What are your thoughts about it? Please join us. It's not going to be Anna, Dr. Nurse
yeah.
Paul, Travel Nursing Hacker K show. It's going to be an all of us show. And we will be able, through this, we will be able to help
Absolutely, yes.
our immigrant
Yeah,
nurses that are probably wanting to fulfill their American dream. We want to
yeah.
stop abusive practices. We want to stop abusive immigrant practices that are
Mm.
picking on nurses, trying to give them employment, scammy employment offers, and so many actually scammers that are targeting our immigrant community. It's a high time for us to stand up for it. But
Absolutely. We have to speak up. Immigrant nurses have been going through this for many, many years, but nobody has
mhm,
stood up. Nobody has stood up. The information was, retracted from us for many years. So this is an opportunity for us to stand up and be advocate for our own selves and our profession. So no one can exploit any professional nurse in the United States. This is again the first time that somebody was standing up, and I hope everybody listening here, all my followers in Travel Nurse Hacker, Traveling Nurse Community, new nurses, foreign nurses, we're all in this together. As is
right,
including experienced nurses here in the United States also who is not aware of such things are happening. So again, if you are a contract nurse traveling, a new nurse, and international nurse, all the information we're going to be sharing here are very applicable to you. It's not just for international, but anybody that is going to be the umbrella of vulnerable population in healthcare. And those are all the young nurses too,
Im-
even
immigrant
locally.
nurses.
a
Right,
Immigrant,
newbie.
right. And I
newbie nurse and
remember,
immigrant. Yeah.
yes, and I remember during our pilot up episode, we said during our introduction, this is more than just a podcast. It's a movement, right? So what we're doing here
Yeah.
in DNP Unlocked, spending our time every Sunday morning sipping coffee in front of you guys, trying to hurry to get to the camera, try to look cute for the camera for an hour or two. Um, this is our community service. This is our way to pay it forward because we want to be able to go back to our roots, to the time that we were still immigrants. All of us are American citizens now,
Yeah.
thanks to the American dream. But we want to be able to serve our community, not only the Filipinos, but every immigrant nurses that are coming to the US. We want to be able to stand up as those people who will speak up, represent us as your voices. We're not running for any political position. We're not getting
Paul
paid
for
to do
president.
this.
Yay.
Can't,
Paul for
you know,
president. Yay.
you
Yay for
can't
me.
because you have to be an American born citizen, whatever. But the point is, we are here to talk about those things. We are here to talk about uncomfortable things that are happening at the ground level of what actually our nurses are experiencing. So please share to us your stories. Keep sharing our stories. Send me messages in direct messages in my social media to Kay, to Anna, and we're gonna collate those information so we can get inspired to create stories, all right? Or shows, future shows for all of you guys. You can also email me again, info@drnursepaul.com for your stories. We will also share that live. And we have reached 100 viewers. We have Daniel watching from
Yeah.
Quezon
Hey,
City, where I grew
Daniel,
up.
hello. Quezon City. I
Kirby.
used to be there, walking around the streets there, begging for money.
Kirby is from Bicol. Kirby is one of my students in NCLEX. He's now an NCLEX passer, so he's watching this to make sure it doesn't get frauded and
Yes,
scammed. Good job,
yes.
Kirby.
All right, where
Alrighty.
else? For everybody's understanding and knowledge, I I don't know if I mentioned to you, but for my friends though, but I used to work in the factory when I was 10 years old. 10 years old. So that's in the Philippines. If you have
Hello,
seen,
child
you've
labor.
seen, yeah, yeah. If you see like your branded clothes there, and I would say a lot of branded clothes. I'm not gonna mention, but these are good clothing. Those are the shirts that's gonna be $90 for the for shirts. So I used to tag those. So do I know labor, forced labor? Of course, that time I wasn't aware, no forced labor. But no, but because for me, no, this is not forced labor because I really want to do this. This is for my family, and this is what I'm gonna do. I need extra money, and I will do it, right? But of course, I'm not saying that when I did it, that was not the right thing. But we're in the Philippines. Sometimes you will have to do, and your poverty, right? So you have to do things that will help your family, even though nobody's forcing you, right? But in America, there are laws, and then you have to
To
protect yourself.
protect you.
Yes, in the Philippines, I get it. I personally would volunteer to do such things,
Yeah.
such things because I'm young. I'm young, and I needed money for my school, and I will do it.
Right.
But and I'm pretty sure a lot of Filipino nurses, or not only Filipino but immigrant nurses in the same situation, poverty, will do their best, anything just to come to the United States.
That's
Whatever
correct.
what the recruiter will say, they will just say yes, as long as we get to the United States. I don't care if I get exploited. I don't care if I'm getting paid cheap, because I'm getting cheapest in where I'm coming from. So if
Right.
I come in the United States, if they gave me $30 an hour in California, that is totally fine because at least I'm in United States. Well, not really, because there are laws that you have to understand. And since if you're in
Right.
a contract, then you have to follow the contract will say you have to follow, and your employer
The
has to
law.
follow United States federal and state laws or local laws. So, if anybody's saying that they're going to not pay you correctly, or or that you're not getting paid correctly, or you're getting abused and exploited, then for me, I think that's a breach of contract on the employer's side if they
That's
are
true.
not following laws. Because if the contract says they will follow law, even though as much as you want to come here and stay, just because you owe this, you have the sense of gratitude to these recruiters, and gratitude on these recruiters and employers for bringing you here, you know this should not exist, because there are laws to
Right.
protect you, and these laws will protect the entire nursing profession in the United States. Because
Right.
if you are enabling exploitive and abusive employer just for the heck because they brought you here, I'm going to tell you, somebody can die on that bed, because the whole nursing profession is crumbling because of this kind of setup. And one day it's going to be your mom or your dad or your loved one or your kids who's going to be in that bed, hospital bed, being taken care by abused and exploited nurse who will say just yes, even though they're given 60 patients, right?
Right.
Or no
And you see
orientation at all.
no orientation at all, or
Right.
somebody who defrauded or faked their resume, right? The agency faked their
Or
resume,
give them
and then
minimum wage. The one that I was
yeah,
reading last night, they
yeah,
were offered minimum wage for training.
yeah,
Who pays minimum $7 an
yeah,
hour for nurse? They're still gonna
What?
make you work as
yeah.
a nurse. They're just gonna pay you
No,
seven
yeah,
dollars
even
an
though,
hour. No,
yeah, even,
that's fraud.
yeah.
I'd rather
So
work in
again,
Walmart now.
if you are the
Yeah, exactly.
person who's in this situation on the dilemma, should I stand up against my exploitive or fraudulent abuser or not? Just think of this. Think of your loved ones, okay? You or think of yourself. You might be in that situation that you're being taken care of. Somebody who's exploited and whose resume got defrauded just for the heck of being sold.
Right.
So again, this is not just as discouraging you to
Oh,
enable these abusers and exploited, but this is for you to protect the entire community,
right.
the healthcare
Right.
system, that one day you will be the patient yourself,
Right. And I
right?
want to add on to that. The bad players, Kay and Anna, bank on the immigrant nurses' naivety, innocence, lack of understanding
Yeah.
of federal and state laws here in the US. They know that. They know that you don't know your rights here as an immigrant. They always put a threat. Remember what we talked about last week? Threat to tell you, we're going to report you so you can get deported. Guys, you have the green card. You have the upper hand here. All right? If I have the green card and you
Yeah.
start threatening me with that, I'll best tell you I'll be emailing my senator tonight, my congressional officer tonight. I'll be calling the cops, send an immigrant lawyer, and you're not going to see me in the hospital tomorrow because that's grave threat. And you can't deport me because I have the green card. You're the one who's frauding, not me, right? Now, it's
Yeah.
unfortunate if you're in an H-1B status or you contracted to be on a student visa first, and you're now not aware that you're doing something illegal. Now they have an upper hand against you. They can actually report you because you're on a student visa, but you're working more than 20 hours, something like that. So be very careful, all right, because they're banking on you to not know these things. They don't want you to hear the things that Kay, Anna, and Paul are going to talk about today. If you think you're getting threats, you don't know what we're also getting. People that want to keep things are people who are doing bad things. They don't want us to talk about these things. But Anna and Kay and Paul were like, nope, we're going to talk about these things live stream, put it out there so everybody can watch it, right, for free, so they have resources to go to and say, oh, this is what they talked about, because that's what we're really
Yeah.
trying to do.
Yes. So for me, I think all leadership in the healthcare should come together and help us. You know why?
Yeah.
Because if a nurse will come here that was protected, that does not need to be exploited, imagine the amount of revenue or the income this nurse can have, resources, financial resources. And now, instead of paying an exploitive employer 30,000, 40,000, or exploitive recruiter or illegal recruiters, now this nurse will come here protected and now will have the financial resources to pay for their advanced education. We're lacking of teachers, we're lacking of, providers. Instead of advocating for these scrupulous agencies, that is taking the resources of these nurses, why don't we protect our nurses, our immigrant
Right.
nurses, our young nurses, so eventually they will be able to gather that financial resources to advance their degrees, to learn how to invest in their own community, right? To learn how, they don't have the stress of dealing with that situation, bad situation, but now they can focus more on how to get things better. And when they are better, when they have this freedom to do things, not worrying about, bad situation, now they're more focused on how to advance their lives. They know
Right.
how to take care of their patients better. They will have time to find ways to make things more efficient at work.
Right.
And imagine if you need extra staff and this nurse is crying. No, ma'am, I cannot do overtime because I'm crying. I have mental health problem because now my agency is, suing me
Yeah.
maliciously.
Right.
So protect them, because now, when you protect them, you're investing on their mental health
Right.
too, which is a big
A-
thing.
And you're right, Kay. I think this is not only for immigrant nurses or nurses that are already here in the US, but I guess this is also a call to action. You're right,
Yeah,
Kay,
yeah,
to the nursing
yeah,
organizations, American Nurses Association, Sigma. Let's all come together.
yeah,
I'm also part of Sienna. Kay is also part of
yeah,
CGFNS. Let's all come together and give immigrant nurses a smooth pathway to transition to their lives to the American dream,
Yeah.
to the American healthcare
Yeah.
system. Because guess what? These immigrant nurses are not only nurses serving at the bedside,
Yeah.
they are also taxpayer. They're trying to integrate to their community, and yet we are turning blind side and turning the other way, even if we know there are bad players in the game. And unfortunately, some bad players are mainstream, all right? Like mainstream bad players, like it's all about money, the corporate protections that these
Yeah.
companies are getting. And they can just easily threat anyone because they have money. That's not what we don't like. We're not getting paid to do this. They're getting paid to defraud you. We're not getting paid to talk about
Yeah.
this, but we're going to talk about
Yeah.
this. This is a call to
Yeah.
action for these nursing organizations. Please help us
Um,
advocate for our immigrant nurses, and
yes.
also call to action to employers, hospitals, organizations that are contracting these agencies that have scrupulous activities, that are defrauding our nurses, that are trafficking our nurses. Please stop working with these agencies and recruiters, because they're going to do it. And if a lawsuit gets into the court, you are going to get involved because you are also accomplice to the crime. Please stop working with these organizations that are victimizing our immigrant nurses from all over the world.
Yeah, and if I said to them, if you protect these nurses, now they will have extra funds, and that can be maybe your membership fees, to
Yes,
advance. Hey, you know what? You have more participants paying your organization for membership fees, right? And you're not looking at 1 year gain. You're not looking 2 year gain. You're looking at 20-year gain from membership fees because these nurses trust you. Immigrant nurses trusted your organization that you will stand up on behalf of them. So again, yeah, call to action. You might be receiving one-time donation from this organization or
Immigrant.
scrupulous agency for one time. But if you
sure.
protect a nurse, they will be here. Immigrant nurses, 20 years membership. That's way more than, right?
Yeah,
Way more than.
a lot of benefits.
Yeah, exactly. I'd
And
rather
I
choose
mean,
a
these immigrant
nurse.
nurses,
Yeah, right? 20 years of membership.
right?
Hey.
Plus, these immigrant nurses are also going to be American nurses eventually.
Yeah.
So, as a citizen, so yeah, it's high time that these agencies actually start working together to protect our immigrant community.
I know,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, definitely. I know that this agency have business, they're working for the money, but I think it's better that we always concentrate on the money part. Like what all and Kay always saying, I'm okay with the business, I'm okay with the money, but please, like, make it ethical. Like, make it
Yeah.
game for the long term, not
Please,
for the short
yeah.
term.
We shouldn't be asking and begging for that. They should be doing it themselves. That's why, Anna and Kay, I work with some of recruiters, right? I work with some agencies because I'm an NCLEX provider. Of course, when my nurses pass, where do I refer them, right? There's only one agency that's paying me recruitment fees. What was that? Not recruitment fees. I'm not a recruiter. Referral fees, but I've only received two recruitment referral fees anyway over the lifetime after I sent many nurses. The point is, it's not how I earn, and I don't want to earn that way. That's not how I earn. Even if I earn money from that, I donate it, I pay it forward, I scholar nurses on top of that. So that's not what I earn. But what I do is I want to talk to their leadership first, right? Kind of gauge how they feel about nurses, what type of practices they do. And I'm very careful with where I refer my nurses, because it's not only about these nurses getting the job, it's also about, are their agencies going to treat them as a human who's capable of feeling emotions, who's capable of feeling heartbroken, frustrated, this despair when they don't get the American dream. I don't want them to suffer that part, right? I want them to be taken care of, like treated as a whole, right? Because that's nursing, what nursing is all about. So that's it. I'm very careful with who I send my nurses to, because I don't want my nurses be set up for failure. Period. So I'm very particular with who I talk to. I'm very particular with who I associate with because it's gonna be against my advocacy if I work with agencies that are doing the things that we're talking about here, right?
Okay, are we ready? So last
Yes.
We
week
have
we spoke
Marvin. We have
about
Marvin.
Oh, somebody's behind me walking. I can see his butt. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
high
say
blood.
hi.
Hello. Good morning, doctor.
I think he want to join, you know.
Yeah, he wants to join.
So last week we spoke about immigration fraud versus human trafficking. For our review, we all know that immigration fraud are false advertisement, you know, promises. Meanwhile, the human
Threats.
trafficking is putting a nurse into a very bad situation, working long hours. We have to know and remember the difference between human trafficking, if you're a victim of it, versus are you a victim or did you sign up for a immigration fraud? So right now we're gonna dive in. We're gonna discuss the case study for first time in our history of having DNP Unlocked, and I'm very excited to present my first two case. Moderator, can you please present my first slide? Okay, case number one. Nurse Taylor's green card was held by her agency upon arrival. She was so happy. She heard the song Welcome to New York, as well as her family. She was not allowed to leave on her day off and visit her relatives and friends in other states. She needs to ask permission, as always, from her agency on her whereabouts. It did not go all too well on her mental health, and it did not last 10 minutes. Is this a fraud or human trafficking? Nurses in the comment section, I want to hear your answers, especially those who are Taylor Swift fans. Can you tell me, is this
Yay.
a fraud or a human trafficking? You can
Welcome to New
uh,
York. Welcome to
This
New
is
York.
wild.
Yay,
Marvin, you need to give us your
Marvin.
answer.
Good
Yes,
morning.
you will be the first one to do oral
Yes.
recitation today, and this is
oral
Exactly.
great.
revalidation?
And from your bed, you don't have to put on your video. That's totally
What
fine. We're
what about our
PG-13.
viewers? We have
Yes.
100 viewers today. What's your vote? Is this fraud or human trafficking? Wow. Poor Nurse
Actually,
Taylor.
this is actually a real life situation.
This is a
It
real
is
life
I
situation.
valid.
got a call, Kay. I don't have my green card. I don't have my social security. I'm not even starting. My job is not starting. And they told me to hold up until they will give me a job. But I came here. I thought I have a job. Now they're sending me to a different state that is a different job from what I have. And I when I ask permission, go and can I see my family while waiting because I don't have any more money. It's the second month already that I'm here in the United States. And the recruiter said, nope, you cannot go anywhere. I have your green card. I have your social security.
Yes.
You cannot go anywhere.
And you know,
So
So,
as an
what's
go ahead.
immigrant, the green card is our like safety net.
Yeah.
Especially, you
no,
know,
and
you
you
want to
own
feel
that.
secure
I
when
mean,
they
the
arrive
government
Yeah.
owns
your
yeah.
The
home.
government owns
The
that
government
card.
owns it, but you
Yeah.
also it's yours. All right, it has your
Privilege.
name
The-
on it. All right,
Yep.
it has your
It's
name on it. The agency doesn't have it or doesn't own it. They cannot keep it. You know, if they're
yeah.
pushing for them to keep it, I'll pick up one over time and file a loss in that green card.
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
$700. You're not gonna stop me. That's my green card. You
Yeah.
cannot have
Yeah.
that. All right.
You
Yeah.
work
No one
hard for
can.
it.
And I
Yeah,
was told
no
by
one
one of the
can
lawyers, it
keep
said,
it for you.
if your green card has not arrived, this is the first time that it was issued to you, and you never get it because your
Yeah, it's free.
agency or recruiter held it and confiscated it. You can report the loss and
Mhm.
just you can get a new one. You say you never receive
Is it
anything.
free or I think you have to pay it, right? If it's the first time, you don't have to pay for it because you
I
never
believe
received
the
it.
first time you never received it. Yes. And
Yeah.
I know for a fact that there are a lot of green cards that have lost in the mail anyway.
Mhm.
It's not necessarily the recruiter held it or, confiscated it. but I have heard like green cards that are not got lost on the mail. Normally, this
Right.
happens all the time.
It,
So the
it,
government gives you one time free, I believe. So this is something that
right.
you will have to call on the visa center, ask
Yeah.
them, can I request for a new green card? I
Right.
have not
Right.
received my green card.
Right.
Okay.
And if
So
it's that, you
Marvin,
send an email to me and Kay and share your story. Okay,
Oh, how
we'll
about
yes.
protect your. We're gonna protect you and provide anonymity during the show, but we'll gladly share your story. All right. And if your recruiter tells you that, email them back and say USCIS. Enter the chat. All right.
Yeah.
many
Yeah,
years
record
ago, I
everything.
remember when I arrived in New York, I received the green card directly to my address, to my workplace, not to my agency. They
Mhm.
sent it to me to the facility where I work. So, how about you, Sir Paul? Do you remember
I
when you
I
arrived?
think mine was received by my lawyer, but they
Mhm.
overnighted it. All right. I know they received it because I have the tracking number. They were pretty. You remember the green card? I think I paid for it. They didn't pay for it. They paid for everything else, immigration, visa screen, and all that. But the green card, I paid for it because that's the last thing that you pay for before coming to the US or when you get to the US, right? You have to go online after your interview and then you pay for that. I think that time that was $450
Yes,
and
yes.
I pay for it. So I told them, hey, I think I have the tracking number. You guys received the green card yesterday, and they overnighted it. They were pretty good. My lawyers are very thorough and pretty good. I forgot their name, but they're very good. They even called me 2 days before the interview to
What?
like go through whatever stuff. They gave me a folder that has all the stickers and say if they ask for your I-140, it's here. If they ask for whatever, but they were I'm pretty sure they were not in the business of defrauding because they take care of nurses, right? But I
How
mean,
about you,
different
dear?
strokes for different folks.
How
Yep.
about you, dear? Can you remember it?
Well,
Where
I
did you
got
receive?
mine in the mail directly. I believe that was 3 weeks after I arrived in the United States. So
That
it
is
was
correct. Yep.
directly sent out to me because my aunt helped me to come here. So we use her address, so I don't have to use my
Right.
agency's
Right.
address or anybody's address. But for a lot of people who have no relative in here, it will always land the recruitment agency's address
Yes.
or that person. So
Because you don't have
that's
an
common.
address, and
Yes,
there's a
correct.
as a expert tip. All right, if temporarily during NVC stage and consul stage, you put your agency's address so they can receive your
Yeah.
social security number and green card because this happens all the time. You remember this, all right, and start
Yeah.
writing this down. As soon as you land in the US on your port of entry, all right, my port of entry was San Francisco because I want to see the Golden Gate Bridge to welcome me to the America. But so assuming I arrived in San Francisco, right, you can tell the border person that's processing you to cross over as an immigrant to change your address. You can change your address at the port
Yes.
of entry. And before they click that button to send it to Social Security and to USCIS that you arrived so they can process your green card, they will change the address first and it will carry your new address. So 2 to 3 weeks later, you get your green card. Within a week or two, you get your Social Security number. So, yes, you use your agency address temporarily, but expert tip, change it at the port of entry. So if your agency tells you you're not going to receive your green card. You're going to
Mm,
share them a photo with your selfie. My green card is with me already. What are you telling me?
very smart thing
Yeah.
to do. I think that's what
Right.
I did. Our port of entry was California in LAX, and the officer asked me, "Where do you want your green card?" And I said, "I'm working in New York," so I gave my nursing home address, not my agency address, and I received the green card, my green card, and my family's green card. So I don't see any answers from the comment
Yeah.
section.
I
Yeah,
know. What's the
no,
answer, guys?
Marvin. Marvin already answered. What is it?
Marvin answered.
How about the
Marvin, let's
others? We have
go to that
100.
answer.
Yeah, we have 100 plus viewers today. What do you guys
Human.
think? Is this human trafficking or fraud?
This is not an NCLEX
Yay!
question.
Marvin said human trafficking. Can we show that? Um, um, yes. And Nika also answered.
Okay, are you ready to give the answer for Paul and Clay?
Go for it, Miss
Yes.
Anna.
Okay, this case is a human trafficking case. Because remember, fraud is a false advertisement offering promises, fake job offers. Meanwhile, human trafficking is placing you in a constrictive situation, holding you like a hostage, like please holding your green card or document, and as well as not giving you any freedom. So this is a case of definitely a human trafficking, and there are ways to prevent or be one of the victims. Like what Kay said, it's a real life case scenario that we received by email, and we're
Yeah.
calling out all the nurses. Be very smart, equip yourself with knowledge, always watch DNP Unlocked every Sunday, or if you miss it, you can always go back visiting the DrNursePaul YouTube as well as Facebook page. So now here we go, question or case
Yeah.
number 2, moderator. Okay, Nurse Travis has a 5-year experience as PQ nurse. However, I made a typo error. His agency changed his resume. Without his knowledge in order for him to secure a job interview. Yeah,
Sorry.
hey, what happened to you?
So what are they saying? I'm
Sounds
very curious about
family.
that.
No, sorry.
Okay,
Go
finish
Anna.
the
Sorry,
case
Anna.
first, but
Yeah, finish.
finish the case first. But I have a question.
I'm gonna have a
Okay,
fixation
influencer.
here with my coffee.
Okay, control yourself. Control yourself,
Hey,
okay.
please let me finish my case study.
Yeah,
Do,
let me get my pulse oximetry because you know that
do you
you're
want
still
me
not
to write you
banning the
something?
Apple
Do you
thing.
want me to write you some alprazolam?
Yeah, I need something to
Okay, let me
depress
do
my
it
cough.
again.
Okay,
Improving the
go,
hospital in
Anna.
Kansas.
Continue.
Finish, Anna.
His prepared states he was shocked during interview about the questions being asked to him. He tried to shake it off, but now it left a bad blood between him and the agency.
Oh my god,
Fraud
I
or
like the
not?
Taylor, I like the Taylor Swift what's this hints in there, right? Like I'm gonna say it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me.
Bad blood. Oh my God, Taylor
Shake it
Swift
off.
fans. I
Yeah.
have a lot of friends for you there.
Right. And I'm honestly, I have a question here. So if they change their CV, what do they put? Like if I'm an emergency nurse, do they suddenly put an L&D nurse? Because I'm not gonna be able to catch that baby coming out. I'll be so scared myself. I'm like, oh my god, baby coming out. What am I gonna do?
Well, apparently Nurse Travis was placed to have an interview for in telemetry, which the
No.
hospital job is in need for.
All
But
Yeah.
the
right.
thing
Well,
is, he's not
I hope
aware.
you're good in detecting your
Okay.
PVCs and
Okay.
AFibs and A flutters and those tersods that can be V tags. So be
Yeah.
careful.
Eh,
Be
Probably
careful,
the
guys.
recruiter who's watching this having VTAC too.
Right.
So I'm gonna what let's give 5 minutes for people to absorb this. Then let's talk about what's happening here. I'll give you
Marvin
an
said,
example. Yeah.
Marvin said this. I think this happened to me. They put in my CV, I'm a model, and
That's
now I'm
funny.
forced to be a model in the U.S.
Oh, yes, everybody who's watching, yes, Marvin is a model for this company. Who said
Yeah,
Figs, right? Figs. So I'm not
yeah.
promoting that company,
Figs.
but I'm just saying, our dear Marvin, congratulations for that, for being a model for Figs.
We
This
have
one.
yet to. Marvin, you keep watching us every Sunday. We should be inviting you here. What is wrong with
Okay,
you?
Yeah, I know you should be here, waking up early with us.
All right.
But I want to emphasize this. I have, I've received these calls many times. Okay, I did not know that my agency changed my resume, and during the interview, they asked me about this experience, and I said, I have not been a bedside nurse for more than 10 years. I was working in BPO. I was working in, BPO is your business processing office, or what we call previously was, your call centers. um then the employer knew. After that, the nurse confessed that I have not been working in the hospital acute care for many years. But what the employer did, they just took because they're really desperate of nurses, right?
Yeah.
So I raised this concern to that state nursing organization. Again, the nursing organization, I said, I'm raising this concern. Why? Because if the nurse gets found out that they're all fully aware of this fraud, their license can be removed. Please, nursing leadership, if you're aware that this is happening, you can be part of that. Okay, if there will be an investigation one day by the FBI or the the government about this, because you guys know that FBI is going all these fraudulent diplomas, fraudulent nursing, fraudulent diploma mill. If there is the diploma mill, there's also a green card mill, which agencies sometimes, bad agencies, they join those things. So again, if there's diploma mill, the one next to that, because they cannot get local nurses, they're gonna go for a visa meal. Okay, in green card meal, we call it green card meal. So if you are nurse leadership who are in this situation and you were aware that this is happening, I'm gonna warn you right now. Get off that as quick as possible. Do not involve yourself in this. There's already a movement from the government cracking down diploma mills, and the next thing they will do are visa mill. So please
Yeah.
be careful. All right.
And
So that's just my
honestly,
word here.
the feds don't have statute of limitation, people. I already
Yeah,
said this. Those
definitely.
diploma mills, they've had these nurses for years.
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
these nurses are already proficient expert nurses and they thought they were gonna get away with it. But one day the FBI said, we're gonna close down this school, and not we're not done.
Yeah.
Every nurse who've had this diploma, it doesn't matter if it's 10 years ago, your boards of nursing will cancel your license. Now, the feds do not care how long ago that was, right? If they start cracking down, I hope they would. I really hope they would. On this immigrant visa fraud, trying to defraud our nurses, trying to traffic nurses. Guys, all right, doesn't matter. All right, if you say, I didn't know about it, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. You can be considered an accomplice to the crime because you were, how do you say it, complicit to it or
Yeah.
implicit? But what's the right
Referee.
word?
Right.
Like you allowed it, right? So
Yeah.
they change your resume and suddenly you have 10 years of experience in med search. Guys, you better be able to defend that. All right,
Yes.
patients will know
Yeah.
if you have experience. Your coworkers will find out and feel if you really have that experience. I think there's no other better way but honesty and truthfulness. All right, that's the pathway to like being successful.
Absolutely. And if you hear this AI technology going on, oh, I'm very happy. Oh, wow, AI technology. Guess what? The government has been using this AI technology for a long time ago. All
Mhm.
right? And they will crack down
Yeah.
easily now who's doing this visa mill. And because a lot of those fraudulent, nurse
They may be part of
diplomas.
Sephora now and
Yeah,
scouring the
right?
whole Sephora.
The
I
diploma
wish they
mill,
would.
right? A lot of immigrant nurses there, a lot of immigrants who was involved on that. Guess
Mhm.
what? It's connected to the immigration, and a lot
Yeah,
of activities
it
now
is,
are being
that
done
is correct.
by the government cracking down. So, but if
Yeah.
you're also a nurse, who are also a nurse, and you know that they did this because your agency said, "Oh, don't worry, I'm gonna sell you as a traveling nurse," and the nurse will say, "Oh wow, traveling nurse! Oh wow, I heard a lot about traveling nurse making so much
From
money,
the
so
travel nurse hacker
yeah."
herself.
Yeah, right. And I'm going to be sold as a traveling nurse. And then the recruiter will say, don't worry, we're going to change your resume. We're going to pretend that you have worked here or you had experience in the bedside and you will earn higher salary. Okay, I'm going to warn you right now, nurses, if you're being told this way, once it get caught, you guys are going to be removed of your license. And not only that, you might go to jail. So
Mhm.
Right.
don't do that. Don't be risk taker. So again, please be careful. Now going back to the answer, I think we're on 5 minutes already.
But there's also whistleblower protection if you want to
Yeah,
Yes.
report. All right, if you want
whistleblower
to report
protection.
your abuser, your employer who is defrauding you, the immigration system, it's a federal crime. All right, before you get involved, all right. get a whistleblower protection,
I'm
which
putting
means
in
the
the post
federal
here.
government.
Yeah, comment whistleblower
Can you
rights and
share it?
protection. Yes,
Yeah,
so
can you
Yes,
please
share it
look
too?
at the
now.
link. I put two information on the link. The first one was the Department of Homeland Security.
Yeah.
So that's for the forced labor, and then this one I put the
How
link
do
for the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of the Inspector General for Whistleblower Rights and Protection. You
they
will
can
be
protect you?
protected. Yep.
Mhm.
Please look into those things. Don't be scared. You're not going home to where you came from. You might be protected, and you need to be talking with those lawyers. How to be fully protect you. You can be anonymous too. Please reach out. Okay, so anyway, going back to Anna and
We
Paul
have
for
a
the answer.
question. Governor Paul and Kay from Karen Joy Valley. What should nurse travel student? Last
Nurse Travis, Nurse Travis can't come to the phone right now.
because you know why?
You know why? It's
He's
a.
not
I'm
dead,
not.
but he's
I'm not
playing.
sure. I'm not sure how much Kay knows about Taylor, but I'm not sure if she can follow what we're saying. But it's a Taylor song.
So wait,
Not
let
too
me
much.
answer that. Nurse Travis, I have another follow up, or I have
I'm gonna drink
another
like this.
question, story. There are two nurses that approached me with this, Nurse Travis and Nurse Kelsey. Nurse Kelsey were brothers.
Oh
Or
yeah, Travis. That's right. The boyfriend.
the old place
Yeah.
Halloween.
And the
Damn.
line can't come to the phone right now. It's a song of Taylor. Hello, Kay. We need to take her to Eras tour.
I know.
Like, oh, you're Beyonce, you're a beehive. Okay.
I know. I'm a
So Nurse
beehive.
Travis,
Sorry.
what he did, he canceled, not really canceled. He declined the offer. The agency was so upset with him. Like what I said, he tried to shake it off, but now it left a bad blood between him and the agency. The
Right.
agency was so upset with him, he did not sign up, and he aimed for the breach of contract because, what
Should
he
not
said,
have
I
paid.
cannot
I would have
work
been
for an
whistleblowing.
agency or an agency who's doing that. However,
Yeah.
Nurse Kelsey, who has the same experience with the same agency, he took it. He worked in a hospital without the job experience. He 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 bit
I
the
still got
bullet.
employer. Yeah.
Aside from telemetry, but his experience was NICU. So now he
Yeah.
suffered and he got fired. That's what Kay
Oh
was
no.
saying earlier. So
Right.
this
So
is
be
a true
careful.
story. Mm-hmm.
And I heard Nurse Travis sent an email to the recruiter. He said, "I'm not a princess, and this isn't a fairy tale." I'm just kidding. No, but the point is,
I
yeah,
love
don't
story.
do that, guys. It's not only immigration fraud. Your nursing license, always go to the bottom line. I was just conversing, I mean, online, right, responding to comments in one of our groups that we're managing, that they were gonna pay nurses minimum wage. Like what minimum wage? 7 an hour? I was like, that to me screams like red flag, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you do not only think about, okay, am I gonna get to the States even if I'm paying low, getting paid low? That's still more than what Philippines will pay me. That's still more than what Africa or Nigeria will pay me. It's not only about that. Remember, when you're here and you start touching patients, you are considered practicing on your license. All right.
Mm-hmm.
You might get away from getting your green card from defrauding the government, but you're not gonna get away from malpractice. At the bottom line of it, it's your license. Should you commit a mistake, it's a Pandora's box that can haunt you for the rest of your life. All right. And again, if you lose your license, you lose everything. All right. So just be very careful. All right.
And
Do
your
not subject
conscience
yourselves
too.
to. Yeah. Yeah.
Remember, nurses is the most honest profession.
Uh,
So
Mhm.
please go
Don't
for
mess
that.
that up. We're top
It's
yeah.
one
a
for the last
fraud.
2 years.
It's a
Exactly.
fraud.
For fraudulent, fraud. So if you are involved in fraudulent, that can be a civil case against you. I'm not a lawyer, but this is what's happening there. Look at the laws there. I think everybody can understand English, and everybody can understand what fraud is. You don't need to be a lawyer to know what diploma fraud is. You don't need to be a lawyer to understand what professional fraud or license fraud is. Fraud is a fraud. Doesn't matter
There's no
if
way
you're
around it.
lawyer or
Yeah.
not. It is a fraud. So if you are involved, if you're the nurse who's involved in this situation and you're scared that you will lose your opportunity to come to the United States because all of a sudden your employer or your recruiter told you to lie or change information, please talk with a lawyer right away, or contact us. We will help you square it out and refer you to the proper legal advisors that can tell you, no, you're not gonna you're not gonna lose your spot in the visa because you already have your priority date. There's a lot of good employer who are willing to take you, and I can attest this because recently I have nurses who've contacted me, about more than 50 nurses now. It's more than 100 nurses now who recently got their job offers rescinded. Some of them were for interview actually in the next 2 weeks. They're all worried that they're gonna lose their opportunity to come to the United States. So what we did was we look for new employers who can recapture them, and depends on their case situation that will be reviewed by the lawyers. They can be offered jobs right away as well, and then they can be recaptured. Again, recapturing, please talk this with your lawyers, but recapturing of visa means that a new employer will come and give you a new job offer. There will be a new I-140 that will be filed on your behalf again by a new employer, and there's an opportunity for you to still come to the United States.
I'm a
So I have
recapture.
yeah. Oh,
Anna is
you
a
are recapture.
recapture.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So there you go. So, but these nurses that we helped last year, about 200 nurses whose employer was gone already. So some of them, they were recaptured in less than 2 months, and they were here. They were visa issued in less than 2 months. So again, you will not lose your visa spot if you find out that you have a fraudulent recruiter who's changing your documentation. You don't need to sign new contract if they're telling you to change contract too. You don't need to sign that. Imagine this. If they give you a new contract to sign just before interview and they're telling you, "Oh, we're not going to give you your packet for interview if you don't sign this. You're not going to go with your interview." I'm going to be 100% telling you, if you don't sign that, that recruiter will lose money too.
Yeah.
Okay? That
They don't
recruiter
get
will
it.
not get commission, right? So it's a bluff. It's a poker game. Okay, you're not going to give me that. You're not going to get your commission too. But I
Right.
can still find a new employer to give me visa, and you
Yeah.
will not have income from me. So
But
again, those are bluff. If somebody's telling you to change something just before your interview, they're going to lose money too. You are not going to lose your visa spot.
right.
They are going
The,
to lose
yeah.
commission. Yeah.
The sad story here, Kay, is when you're close to your interview. I know that feeling, right? We've all gone through that. You probably have sold your house already. You've
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
taken out your kids from school. You've probably packed already, right? Because you're immigrating to a
Yeah.
new country, and then there's a bait and switch to where, because employers can play
Yeah.
this game. They can actually remember one of the requirements for interview. We're talking about visa interview. We're not job interview. This is the last leg for immigration. You're now
Visa. Yeah.
going to the US. You just need the visa, right? And in order to do that, to get that, you have to go through the consular interview, right? There can be a last minute bait and switch, and this is how they get you. One of the requirements for visa interview or consular interview is a most recent job offer or recent job offer within the last 30 days, dated within the last 30 days. That's the final verification of the consul to say the job is still there, because they already know nurses coming over, the jobs are no
Yeah.
longer existing, because during our time, we were waiting for 10 years, right? And that is the most crucial part, because they know you're most vulnerable, because you already told your family you're leaving. You already publicized in Facebook, I'm leaving on a jet
Yeah,
plane and I
getaway
don't know when I'm
party.
going to get back again. You already did your despedida throwaway party. You already sold your properties. And now you're left with no choice but to go to the US no matter what, right? And they're going to say, you know what? I know we offered you 50 an hour before, but that
Mhm.
agency, that hospital, in this magnificent hospital in a big city here somewhere in the States, is no longer offering that job. But here, I'm going to give you 30 an hour. You don't need to do this contract. You just need to show this to the officer to the consular officer, don't worry. Once you get to the States, we're gonna switch that back. All right. I think that's one of my case. I just suddenly realized it's one of my case.
No, go to your case
Don't.
now.
That's one of my case. No, don't do that. That's bait and switch.
Okay. Answer for this
Go
also.
ahead.
Oh, it's very jam-packed information here, and I
Yeah,
hope
a
Yeah.
lot of
everybody's
information.
listening. If you know a friend who can benefit from this information that we're sharing, please do share it
Tag
with your
him.
friends. Please share this to all the please share this to as well. Oh my god, I hear that doorbell. You guys hear that?
Yes, you do.
Help your
Oh
friend.
god. So anyway, so please share this to your friends. You can PM them this video, share it directly to them if you guys are feeling that somebody. Traveling nurses, you guys are everywhere in the United States, and I'm calling on you to please talk with the foreign nurses that you will see. Do not hate them, do not despise them for being there. If they're just like you, taking advantage of the opportunity at hand. So please talk to them and ask if they are in this situation, because you will be surprised that a lot of foreign nurses are actually in this situation.
Right.
Okay. Next one is gonna be Dr. Nurse Paul case. My era is gone. Take it away, Dr. Nurse Paul.
All right, Nurse Paul is a Filipino nurse looking for jobs to US. He found a recruiter through Facebook and he started communicating with them. They offered him a direct hire contract from a hospital in US. They asked him to pay $5,000 for recruitment fees plus interest if he were to sign up with them. Is this a fraud or not?
5,000
Everyone?
or 500.
Yeah.
5,000 US dollars, and you can pay an installment with interest. They said they're
But no
only going to hire you if you pay $5,000. Sounds familiar? I have to shut my mouth. But
Yeah, I
gonna
want to add here that there are actually countries who are not as same rule when it comes to recruitment fees. You know, so each country will have their own law regarding recruitment fees for foreign employees or foreign laborers. So please look at your each host country or your home country. Look at the laws on recruitment fees. But one thing there is for sure, Philippines, they're under Department of Office of Migrant Worker, nobody should ask for recruitment fees, you know
yeah,
on the place
somebody
during
asked that
recruitment.
earlier.
Yeah,
Can we consult
for
the
nurses.
DMW? That's
Yeah,
yes. But some other
yeah,
countries don't have their government agencies protecting them. We don't have a lot of
yeah,
information with that. But also check what your
yeah.
country should be, what the laws are for recruiting nurses from your country. Okay,
Mhm. Yep.
right? So what do you guys think? Is this a fraud or not? Nika said it's a fraud. Ambrose said I should be the one getting paid. Well, that's not what she said. I rephrased it, but she said should be a $5,000 sign-on bonus. You're right, Amber. I'm with you. You should not be the one paying them. They should be the one paying you because they
Yeah.
need
I
nurses.
just want to say hi to Amber Rose. It's my friend that I met from Kansas City when we watched Taylor Swift concert.
And
Oh wow,
hi,
nice.
Amber Rose. Amber Rose. Thank you
Right.
for making our friend here and more fun in the Eras concert.
Emmy
For-
said fraud. Jay said fraud. Can we flash that, please? Emmy said
Car-
fraud. Jay
Carolina
said
said, "I know
fraud.
this agency. Name it. Name it.
Carolina.
Name it. Name it." Right?
Not in my social media page. They might get after me
Em.
for they might get after me for you know them. But
When you're drunk already,
Bongai
you
said
said, "Take
fraud.
it off. Take it off. Take it off." It's like
Right.
that.
Right. Well, I think we know these agency, but we're not particular with any
Yep.
agency. If this case is similar to a certain agency, that is called what do you call that? Accidental? No. What do you call that when it matches but it's not really it? How do you
A
say that?
real life situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, my point is we're not specifically naming an agency, but I mean,
Yeah,
if you
we're
think this
naming
might be
practice.
related,
Yeah.
they're related to something, somebody, some entity. Well, we'll find out. What's your answer? Everybody said fraud. Anna and Kay.
Yes. 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 Even if I'm drunk and not sober, I'm gonna say fraud.
Right.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a
what I
fraud.
always say is, I'm not gonna pay $5,000. You haven't even brought me to the U.S. What is
Mhm.
the guarantee that that $5,000 will materialize and I'm gonna be able to go to the U.S. Right? And even then, with promises, oh my goodness, without complicated the immigration system is, I'm not gonna pay $5,000. That for me screams like red flag. I should have brought a red flag. Wave it every time it's a
I
fraud.
am not
For
gonna
me,
pay without receipt. You
Oh
know,
my
first
God!
letter.
Please, yeah. They said,
as a
"Oh,
payer
please
who
Nick,
submit it." Yeah.
and I need a
Nika,
receipt.
yeah,
Yeah.
Nika said, first letter of agency, you're gonna get us in trouble, Nika. You're gonna get me in trouble. But fraud,
So,
fraud. All right, next case, next
oh,
case.
before we go to next case, I just want to add,
Before we
Paul.
go to the next, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I put in the chat what is the information there from the
Oh, I
Department
was
of
like, you put in the
Labor.
chat the name of the agency.
Yeah, no, not in the chat. No, we don't want to do that, In the chat, please look
Research.
at the link. It's clearly stating there, US Department of Labor, recruitment fees are illegal. This is US
Mhm.
Department of Labor. Recruitment fees are illegal in the United States. Please look at that link that I send you. That is directly coming from the United States Department of Labor. Okay. If
Yeah.
they are going to say, don't worry, we're gonna reimburse you back. This money is going back to you. Please deposit this to my wife's account. Please deposit
Shell
it to
account,
my
Venmo.
yeah, Venmo it. Please deposit to my
Girlfriend,
children's account. Don't
children,
yeah,
my, my
do
niece, my
not
nephew,
do that. Yeah, so do
my
not
bank
do
account
that.
offshore.
My family tree.
You're right. So I would
Here's my
recommend you
here.
guys to not do that. Please, no no recruitment fees are ever legal in United States. May it be reimbursed or not. No, it's illegal. Period. Okay. No, sorry, Paul.
Plus,
They can
I
get you next
mean,
slide.
yeah, plus, I mean, you always get this warning if you're going to send money to someone that's not your family member or someone you know, don't do it. It's more likely a scam. And yeah, for me, this screams an immigration fraud. All right. You're asking money for what? To bring nurses to the US? I think there's
Premium
more
process.
agencies that offer immigration jobs that you don't have to pay for anything. In fact, they're gonna pay you back for all your NCLEX fees, English exam fees. They're gonna pay for your family. They need you here. All right. So don't pay. All right. That nurses that are desperate enough to pay, you're also putting yourself and opening yourself to fraud. All right. Because when the feds start cracking down, they're gonna say you fairly know that this is a sign of fraud, but you still went for it. So please, that's double jeopardy. You're already gonna be in trouble because your own employer is going to abuse you once they get to the States, because guess what, they have now an upper hand. All right, you're now part of the crime. All right, so they can say, you know what, we're going to pay 20 an hour instead of 40 if you report us. We're all going to go to hell together. All right, so don't do that. All right, next
You're
case.
gonna get
I
hell.
know
My God,
Not
hell
for
break
fun.
loose.
that's where they want to take the nurses. All right, case number 4, Nurse Stark, that's the name of my puppy, is hired by a recruitment agency in US who offered him a job with a hospital employer. 2 weeks. This is what I was saying earlier. I should have stopped because this is my case. 2 weeks before his scheduled consular interview in the Philippines, agency told him the employer canceled the job offer because the position is already filled. Agency told Nurse Stark to still proceed with the interview and tell the consul that he has a current job offer in the US with a hospital employer. Consul approved the visa and Nurse Stark flew to US shortly. Is this fraud or not? So the employer, remember, there's multiple parties here: the recruitment agency, recruiter, and employer. The employer said, no, we don't have a job anymore for these nurses. We're going to cancel the interview. All right. But the agency said, no, no, no. The job offer is still current. It's within 30 days. They gave it to us before. So use it. Tell the consul, I still have a job there. And the nurse eventually went for it. Is this fraud or not? Nika said fraud. How about the others?
Remember, recognize the cues.
Oh,
Analyze the cues.
well,
Like next generation
yeah,
efforts. What do you think,
but they
Kay?
said, yeah, but they said the CEO of my agency said yes, and she's a nurse. That it's okay. Should I go?
Yeah, but she's a Filipino and she cares for me.
Yeah, she said she's gonna help me to come to the United States.
She's also gonna help me with my taxes and IUL. I'm sorry. It's a We're gonna get in trouble. She's also gonna sell me IUL.
Yeah, yeah, they're gonna pick me up from the airport,
I'm turning red.
and they said they will
They're
protect
going
my
to give me
kids
a
too
lot of
with
chocolate.
insurance, with investment.
They like defrauding our nurses, don't they? All right, not only with immigration, but also with life insurances
Yeah, I'm
and
like,
taxes. They
are you
gave me
kidding me?
$10,000 tax refund. Well, hello, thanks for posting that in Facebook because now IRS can chat GPT that and find you. You just made their jobs easier, all right?
Yeah, and there's a lot in Lefora. I'm gonna tell you that.
Oh my goodness. Every day I have very normal blood pressure, but when I open the group Lifora, my blood pressure spikes up so suddenly, like I'm like, do I need
Well,
metoprolol or something?
this past few days, my hypertension is active.
I
You
know.
know, I've been taking
Be
the weight
careful,
all
Anna.
morning and night.
Yeah, be careful, all right? If it's stressing you, just close the app. Saki said fraud. Saki said triple fraud because they said they gave you life insurance and say we're gonna help you with your taxes, and they're not even enrolled agents. My goodness! But guys, the problem with fraud. They love nurses. All right, we have the
Oh
most
yes.
And why
stable
is that?
job, recession proof. You earn good money, way more above average Americans with same degrees.
You always
Very
have
the
a job.
longevity for the job is really good. Nurses are, my God, the mortgage companies are gonna line up for you. You just show your contract. You don't even have savings, right? Nurses that are been here for 2 months already have houses of their dreams. So imagine the scammers. They're also lining it up for you. They're also putting spices and very, very. They're seasoning it in the form of cooking, right? They're seasoning it really, really good to make it really, really appetizing. All right, so you can take the bait. Please be careful. If it's too good to be true, it might
Yeah.
not be true.
Yeah. Once you say it here, like it's like I'm going to a megaphone. Hey, I have a new nurse that arrived, and this agent's like, oh wait, let me get it, let me be there the next day. I'm like, it's like
Yeah,
literal vultures. A lot of them are vultures.
yeah.
But anyway,
No. Literally, they're
so
gonna
funny,
ask you.
Saki.
So do you
The
have
Saki said
money?
triple.
Do you have money for your family if you die? No. Okay, so here's your IUL. This is very good for immigrant nurses. You only pay $500 a month. That's literally your apartment payment. But don't prioritize your apartment. Prioritize your life insurance first. It doesn't matter if you're homeless. At least you have life insurance, right? I'm just kidding.
You have cash value. The
Oh
cash
my god.
value.
Let's stick with the fraud. Let's stick with the fraud for
Okay,
now.
let's stick with the immigration fraud.
That's a
No, but
different
what do you
topic.
guys think? What do you guys think? Is this a fraud? I think this is a fraud. All right,
Yeah.
because you literally lied to the consul. When you go to the consular interview, do they make you swear
Swear.
that you're
Yeah.
actually
An oath.
providing correct information? There's an oath during
Mhm.
consular interview. You cannot lie to that. That's federal agent in front of you. That's the feds. They can get back at you years later and said, you signed the oath. You actually took the oath during the consular interview
Mhm.
that you're not lying, that everything you're providing is correct. If you already know, and you're listeners, that the employer or the agency already told you it's okay, just use this job offer and then come here to the US, we'll sort it out. Do not trust that. I'll be the first one to whistle blow that. All right? That agency is committing fraud as broad as daylight. All right? That is fraud. Now, if they defraud you to where you do not know, they didn't tell you, right? They said this is the job offer, the hospital sent it, right? And you presented it to the consular interview, you did not know it. You came into the US and you don't have a job, and you're like, where's the job, right? Where's the job? You told me there's a job. You just gave me a job offer. Or it says they're Knoxville, whatever other hospital, and then they sent you to North Dakota hospital. It's totally different. Guys, you report that right away because two things happen. One, you get off the contract for free. They breach the contract. Two,
Yes.
you're going to be a whistleblower and you're going to have whistleblower protection. You report that right away. Stop talking to them. Email them back. USCIS, enter the chat. All right. You did a bait and switch. But remember, report it right away because eventually, if you okay to that, say okay to that, you already know that they switched it, right? You already came into the US without a job and you presented a job offer that says you had a job. All right. This is another agency that likes to do this a lot. They're still doing it today, and I cannot name them. I wish I could. It's a mainstream agency. And just look for federal lawsuits because they're part of it. One of the 9 agencies that was named. I'm sorry. But anyway, go back. Guys, eventually, when this gets to the court, the burden of proof is yours. If you tell the court, I did not know it at that time. Honestly, I did not know about it. I only figured it out when I got here. Guys, you got to prove that. If the court says, well, you've been working for them for 1 year, why didn't you tell us on day one? Right? Be careful. Be very careful. If you come over here not knowing that they switched your job, do not report to the job. All right? Seek an immigration lawyer right away. Check your resources with USCIS. Kay is doing real-time research right now and providing links. Report that right away. All right? And honestly, it works to your favor. They breach the contract. You have the green card. You're good. All right? Find another job. To be honest, I told
Yeah.
one of the nurses that I talked to, find another job. All right? If they tell you that you're still tied up with us, you do not have a working visa. You have a green card. They breached the contract. They did bait and switch. Tell them that your lawyer will be
Yeah.
in contact with them. All right?
Yeah.
Not be
Yes.
scared. You have a right to
Absolutely.
an immigrant green card holder.
Yes. So if you are in a situation that there is a change of employment and you don't know what to do, and you're kind of feeling not right about it, again, nurses have very good critical thinking.
Yes,
Please
that is
use it.
correct.
Please use your critical thinking not only to the clinical side. Please use your critical thinking also in real life. This is real life. This is your license. You work hard for this. You studied 4 years, maybe longer. You paid so much money to get your degree. If you get tagged as a fraudulent in United States, that information will be sent to other countries as well. You all
Yeah,
know that United States is a very powerful and connected
powerful country.
country, and
Yeah,
there is a
what?
lot of or government organization in these other countries.
Yeah,
If they do a background check on you and they see that you're fraudulent in the United States,
yes.
you're blocking your opportunity to go to
For
different
all the
countries.
Western countries. Yeah. Imagine if you
Exactly.
get banned in the US, you get federal case. You know what Canada will say, and the European Union will say, and
Yeah.
UK and Australia and New Zealand will say,
Yeah.
we're not going to take you back. It's in
You're gonna be
international
Interpol.
database that you
Yes.
frauded and you had a federal government case because you were part of an immigration fraud. And that's a RICO, right? It's a racketeering. It's a federal case. So, yep, you can get fraud. Guys, look at the
Yeah.
question of Rona. And I want to flash that on the screen right now. What could have happened when the consul find out you lied? Go. That's a
What will
federal case.
happen? Federal, yes, a federal case. So there's federal, which is the entire United States, and there is your state laws, which is on per state, your local laws. If you defrauded federal, oh my God, no, you don't want to do that. Seriously, that's heavier than you know case
Ju-
local state
it-
violations. Federal
mhm.
violation, immigration, is a major offense in United States. That can be that can be a grounds for you to be imprisoned. That can be grounds for you to be sent
Deported.
out, sent back to your country, and be banned. There's a lot. So these are the things that can happen. I put in the chat there the link for the USCIS. What are the penalties for prohibited practices? Okay, so please look into that. That's a handbook for employers. But of course, as an employee being hired
You
here,
should know that as well.
yeah, exactly, because it's very similar. You can go back to your country
Right.
and be banned.
Right.
Immigration, they will tell you you swore that you these are all truthful, like Paul said. No, You swore to the oath. You took an oath that everything you put in your immigration documents are truthful. So, but I'm gonna tell you,
We
if
can ban you guys.
yeah, and if let's say you didn't lie, the recruiter did not tell you to
Tell
lie
you.
before
Yeah.
leaving your country, but then upon arrival, they said you have no more job already. We're gonna change it like this situation. Do not do anything yet. Why? I don't ever, even if I've been a traveling nurse and a contract nurse for many, many years, there is no such thing that a job got changed overnight, right?
Yep.
There is no such thing like that. That yesterday there was still a job for me as an immigrant nurse, but the next day I traveled, but then the next day I arrived in the United States and there's no more job. No, no job of an immigrant disappears overnight. Okay, it's not like when you ride a plane, ooh, no more job. As soon as I land, no more job. No, the agencies know already beforehand that you have no job already. And they have a plan to sell you to a different company because you're here. Now you can start faster. They can sell you on a higher price. And then they will also change your salary. They're going to tell you your salary before was $40. Unfortunately, that employer is not no longer here. But I have another employer, but they're only paying $35. Will you take it or not? And this is always the tactic. Your answer should be no, I am not taking that. Okay? And make sure that everything should be written. Don't have the conversation just on the phone without any record, any documentation. As soon as you were told upon landing that you have no more job, please reach out to any of us and we can guide you towards those resources that you will have, those
Right.
lawyers, immigration lawyers or contract
Y-
lawyers.
Your response should be, let me consult a lawyer before we proceed. That way they know that you mean business and you're serious about it. And if they want to do it the legal way, they would honestly respect that. If they're trying to coerce you and threat you and abuse you, then you know they're already a bad player. So yeah, I think just saying the line, let me consult a lawyer, would already show the intent from the other party depending on their response, you know. So nurses, be better. The nurses, you use your critical thinking, you use your instincts. We're trained to determine red flags with our patients. You are also able to use that with your immigration experience. All right. So do not be one of those nurses. Me, Anna, and Kay, we were lucky. We were one of those nurses that were not defrauded. I mean, Anna and Kay had also experiences.
Yeah, I have problems too.
They
I
were
have
not though.
problem, man. Hey,
I
I
was
was told
not
twice
that.
I have a housing. I came here. I was freezing my ass in Manhattan with $200. I did
No,
not have the
no.
housing as promised. So, but anyway, it's done. It is what it is. And
And
we're here.
we're using those experiences to share with the nurses so they will be aware and be informed and it will be prevented for them to be a victim. So like what
Yep.
Nurse Paul and Nurse A was saying, we are nurses.
Hmm.
Remember the word negligence, any omission or commission,
Commission.
right? So don't forget that. Don't be desperate to arrive in the US. I just want to arrive in US. Please be better because it will make or break you. Federal will hunt you down. It's like the IRS who cannot run away from it. They know what you're doing and they're gonna find out about you.
Right. And see what Soriana said. Can we flash that? She said, this happened to me. I know, to someone I know, not to me. This happened to someone I know, according to the well known agency. Her job offer from a certain facility changed. When she arrived in the US, she was sent to a different facility in a different state.
That's
No, I would
hard.
have contacted a lawyer right away. I'd be in San Francisco enjoying the Golden Gate Bridge and
Yeah.
let the lawyer send them a letter. All right. I'd honestly pay $100, $200 for a lawyer to be involved at that point because I do not want to mess up my American dream. I do not want to mess up my future just because I was part of a immigration fraud. If they do a bait and switch, all right, that's already a red flag, guys. Be better. Don't go for it. Don't take that bait. All right.
So I would recommend everybody coming to the United States put aside at least $300. extra, just an extra, okay?
Per-
Don't, this is not the money that you're going to use for food. This is not the money you're going to use for your clothing, for your housing. Please set aside $300 before you arrive in the United States. And what is this for? If there will be changes in any of this employment situation that you have, use that money that you have, the $300, and
Mhm.
pay a lawyer. If you don't have money to pay a lawyer, but you have enough time, or you can stay with somebody for the meantime, because you're having free housing from your family and friends, you can contact the Department of Labor, and they can look at your case, for free. The US Department of Labor website, I put it in the chat. Again, if you have free housing but you have no financial resources to contact a lawyer, and you have time to wait for about 3 weeks of response, go contact Department of Labor and take a look at your case. All right, don't sign any contract yet. But however, if you're a person who will come here in the United States and you have extra resources, financial resources, please spare at least about $300 for a lawyer
Legal
consult.
consult.
Okay, for a lawyer consult. If you have no money at all and you have no family to stay with for free housing while you're here in the United States, please contact us and we will see how we can help you. Okay, we're not
Right.
lawyers. I'm not a lawyer personally, but I am a nurse who signs contract every freaking 3 months of my life for the past 18 years, right? So you don't tell me I don't understand, my employment or job offer. I can understand a job
KK, are
offer.
you a lawyer?
Yeah.
Are
No,
you a
I'm not
lawyer,
a
Kay?
no, I'm not a lawyer. And
No, no, no. I'm just imitating what
yeah,
someone
I know,
told
right?
me.
I
Remember?
know, right?
Are
Am
you
I
a
a
lawyer?
lawyer? No,
You're
I'm
just a
gonna tell you.
nurse. Are you a
Well,
lawyer?
I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse. And what? So what am I nurse, right?
If somebody
And
tells me that, I'll be saying I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a nurse. Are you a nurse?
yeah,
No,
exactly.
no.
No.
I'm
Are you
not a
gonna be the
lawyer,
one doing
but I'm
this
a nurse who
contract? So
signs
don't
contract, and I
tell me that.
understand some portion of it. If I don't
Exactly.
understand portion of it, I'm gonna tell you. See, you're gonna have to talk with a lawyer about this,
Yeah.
because
Don't let them gaslight you. Yeah.
exactly, I have limitation, but it doesn't mean that I know nothing. Okay, I
Right.
did my negotiation mastery in Harvard Business School. Okay, I have my
Right.
certificate for that, and I know contract. Because I'm a contractual nurse for 18 years. So I even know
Right.
more some of this information than some lawyers. What's really
Right.
happening in the nursing?
Mm-hmm.
There are
Mm-hmm.
information that lawyers know, and there are information that I know. So if I talk to you and you talk to the lawyer both, you will get the best of both ends. Okay, because
Right. Right.
I know the situation in the actual hospitals. I understand. I work in nursing homes, so I know what is the situation there, which
Right.
some of
Right.
the lawyers don't, cannot understand. Right? So
Okay.
anyway,
Hey,
um, go to the
we have
link
two
and
more
make your questions.
last case studies for K.
Last case
Last
for me.
but not the least,
Do I have one more case study?
Yeah,
I
Paul,
have
go
two
ahead.
for K.
This will be very quick. Case number 5 is going to be for me. And let's flash it. Nurse Chili, my other puppy, arrived in the US and was told by her agency that her employer canceled the job offer. She is without a job. An agency forced her to wait for them to find her a new employer. She waited 3 months with no job, no stipend. She is thousands in dollars in debt. Agency told her she cannot apply anywhere else and must honor their contract. Otherwise, she pays a breach of 100,000 US dollars. Nurse Chili is now depressed and running out of money. Is this fraud or not?
Poor Chili. You just
I
got her.
know.
Look a new
I know.
puppy.
My new puppy. But what about this nurse, guys? What do you guys think? Is this fraud or not? And
Oh,
this is
in two
inspired by
words.
a story from a nurse that I know. This is exactly what happened.
She was
I
like,
contacted a
finally,
lawyer
I
for,
arrived in the US.
yeah,
Yoo-hoo!
American dream.
Here I
Yeah.
come. But
Yep.
oops, no
Here are
luck.
my reels. How to get to the US, but you don't have a job. And here in
Yeah.
the US, bills easily pile up, guys. You get dollars, you earn dollars, you spend dollars too. So, uh huh. Um,
And your bills
Alternatively,
doesn't take a break here. There
yeah.
will be a bill, monthly bill.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
alternative. There are situations that are very similar. This is called It says there the keywords. She waited 3 months with no job. That alone is a term for called benching. Okay, that is the proper word for that. Benching is when you arrive in the United States. The employer promises you have a job, but you have no job when you arrive. And immigration and employers swore also they promised the immigration system that they have job for you upon arrival. If they have no job upon arrival and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, it's called benching. Okay, so that's one. Number two, if you were told to arrive here and they said, oh, do the training first for 1 week or 1 month, and that 1 month period you were not paid the amount that actually was in your ETA 9089. Again, there is a form called ETA 9089. Look at those documents and look at that and and see what was the salary that was promised to the immigration. Okay? If let's say you are only given a bare minimum salary of, for 1 month, and then another month you're waiting and waiting. So are we achieving that prevailing wage that the promised salary by your employer? The prevailing wage is the minimum that they can pay you, but the promised salary is a different number. So there's two numbers that you will see in your ETA 9089: the prevailing wage and the offered salary. So the offered salary is what the employer promised the immigration of the United States that they will pay you. If the employer said, I'm going to pay this nurse $40 an hour, or it's an annual also, I'm going to pay this nurse $70,000 annual salary. Now look at now your paycheck. If you're being paid minimum for the first month, second month, 3 months, you will
$7
not
an hour.
you will not reach the promised salary that your employer promised the immigration system. So if again, compute your annual salary. If you are not meeting that annual salary that is matching your ETA 9089 or your hourly salary that's not meeting that, please consult a lawyer. Okay, always come to the United States with extra 300 so you have money to consult the lawyer. Okay, save that money
Right.
there. All right, so anyway, those are the differences that can happen on this.
Right. So fraud or not, imagine you're the one who came in without a job for their own fault, right? You waited for 3 months and then you started applying for a job and then they tell you you gotta pay us $100,000 because we're the ones who are at fault. We lost the job for you, right? Don't pay that $100,000. If they tell you, well, you're gonna pay $100,000 for breach of contract, I'm gonna tell them, well, my lawyer said you're the one who breached the contract. So my lawyer will be emailing with you. I'm also going to report this to USCIS because you're the one who breached the contract, right? So remember, the contract is two ways. Your side and their side, all right? If they promised you a job, you came to the US and they didn't supply that job, that's their breach, not you. All right. So it's their responsibility to assure that job is current and you land in the US with a job. That's the whole premise of why you're coming here to the US. If you did all you could in good faith and you did not know about this fraud, you get here and they did not supply that job for you, that's them. All right. That's their problem, not yours. All right. This case sounds familiar. It's more common than you think, Rona. So many nurses. Most common
A
that we
lot.
always, right? Okay, like
Absolutely. Yeah. More
some
than
people are here.
100, more than
They're
200
living with their families in
per year.
US
Mm-hmm.
for months just so they can afford to live. But imagine if that was me. I don't even have a family here. Like, where do I live? Under the bridge? Like, that's a much worse living
You're gonna be
scenario than
homeless,
when I had in
Paul.
the Philippines, right? Like, no, I did not come to the US to be frauded like that, to be part of a racketeering immigration fraud. What's this? Case where I'm the victim. I do not plan to be a victim. All right, so I had to be smart. You guys have to be smart. You do not want to be. And guys, let me tell you this: these cases are inspired. not necessarily accurate,
It's,
but
it's real life.
inspired by true stories, right?
True
We said that at the
stories.
beginning. Inspired by true stories. This is not a product of Anna or Kay or Paul's imagination. This is
Yeah.
not. This is
Yeah.
a story that we've heard. We've
We
talked
ha-
to multiple nurses. We've connected to lawyers. We've explained to them their probable, steps that they can take. We sent them labor link to report, everything that they can report, immigration link to report these immigration these companies. But you know what I mean? We these are real stories, and that's a very sad
inspire
story.
and to brag.
Imagine your whole family is rooting for you, cheering for you. American dream. Everybody wants to go to the US. You finally posted that photo with Lady Liberty or Golden Gate Bridge or the Seattle pin, right? But guys, uh, it's more. There's more stories than those pictures, right? Are you really living the American dream, or are you caught in this situation because your employer defrauded you? So time to stand up, time to speak up. Do not make your case unknown. I told one nurse, please, can you please do me a favor? If we connect you to the lawyer, can you please not back out, right? Okay, because Anna
Yeah.
and Kay, they usually
Mhm.
back out. They're like, you know what? I'm just gonna pay $100,000. My goodness, I'm not gonna pay
Oh,
that.
I know somebody.
Yeah,
He
I'm
was
just
he
gonna
was in
pay
very
for my
situation.
peace of mind.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
Yeah.
have peace of
yeah.
mind when I'm
Mhm.
in debt for
Right, right.
$100,000. That's not peace of mind for me.
Yeah. If you have
Right.
paid, if you are a nurse who you think you were violated, and then
Mm-hmm.
still the agency or your
As
scrupulous recruiter told you to pay, and then you paid. Okay, if you paid, now it's been a year already that you're out of that picture, of that situation. You move on with your life. I want you to reach out to lawyers. Please consider talking to your lawyers if that money that you paid were actually legit or valid
right.
or
You
legal.
can still,
Because
yeah. There's statute of limitation. They might still be
yes,
able to sue
yeah,
them.
yes. So you can still, if you're just listening to this and you realize, wait, I paid $70,000. Oh wait, I paid $50,000 to my previous employer or
My
my
God,
agency who
fifty
took
thousand
advantage of
dollar.
my ignorance. Oh yeah, I know 70,000
Right.
cash.
Yeah.
Like, God. Please talk to a lawyer. You might be spending, yes, you might be spending 5,000, $10,000 for a lawyer. But you might be, depending on your case, the lawyer will have to review it. You might have the opportunity to get that money back. And how am I saying this with confidence? Look at the case of one hospital who was told by the government to return all the money that the
Mhm.
nurses paid over the span of couple of years. So I'm not gonna name that, but if you go
They're
do your
still
due
they're still
diligence,
hiring nurses. I just
yeah,
had one student that I had from 10
yeah,
years ago told me, "Oh, they offered me a job too, and I signed up with them."
yeah,
No, we've
yeah.
been talking about them.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
so there are a lot of flaws. Everybody was saying, "Oh, this has been happening for many years. This is not something new." And a lot of American nurses also, or American people will tell you, "Oh, they do that all the time. That's part of the business process." I'm
no,
going to tell you, the loss 10 years ago is not the same loss as of 2024. There are a
right,
lot of changes that had happened for human trafficking of nurses for the past 10 years, that now there are laws that are protecting the Filipino nurses, the immigrant nurses, the immigrant teachers, the immigrant medtechs, PTs, or any immigrant employment based visas that were issued. There are a lot of protection now. There are a lot of laws that were passed for the past 10 years that is not allowing what was being done 10 years ago. So if
right,
anybody that has been here for many years and they tell you, oh, those are normal. Those are, been doing this for many years. Again, I'm going to correct that. There are new laws that are in place right now. And there is one there is called TRAP, TRAP, TRAP. That is called Training Repayment Agreement Provisions. So again, training repayment agreement provision. So that is like one law that is protecting a lot of nurses who are being told, oh, you're going to be training when you get here in the United States, and then if you quit, you will have to pay those training. Because hey, why am I paying? That's part of the employment. Your orientation are part of your employment, and they're not
right,
doing
right.
this to to American nurses. Why are they doing this to immigrant nurses? Because immigrant nurses know nothing. Okay.
Right.
So and this is very
That's what they
common to
thought.
happen. Yep,
Yeah.
and this is
Yeah.
yeah. So there are a lot of new laws that are coming out to protect immigrant professionals coming to the United States that are not existent 10 years ago or 5 years ago. Please consult your lawyers, okay? Because you might be able to get those money back depending on your
Right.
case. So we're not lawyers here, but
Don't pay.
we're telling you to
Don't pay.
consult lawyers, okay?
And
Now,
if
what
you tell
lawyer?
me,
Yeah,
and if you tell me I'm just gonna pay for peace of mind, it's not gonna be peace of mind when you pay that much money. That could have been a
Yeah.
down payment for a very nice house or a property somewhere around the world. That could have been your investment. That could have made you a lot of money in investment funds. So no, you're just
And when you
enabling
pay,
them to do it. You're just enabling them to do it to other nurses
yeah,
in the
yeah,
future. So I
exactly.
told this nurse that I talked to, please do me a favor. Can you please not back out once we start the ball rolling?
Mhm.
Because if you're
yeah,
gonna back out, I'm just not gonna help you. I'm just gonna talk to nurses who would be willing to do that. I could not do anything. I'm not the one defrauded, right?
yeah,
I wish I was, because I know I'll be fighting for it. Knock on wood. I'm not saying I want it for myself, but I know my capability. I will fight for it. But other nurses don't have that guts because they're scared. They don't want issues. They don't want to be, on this, like, they don't want to be in, what do you call that? In
Exactly.
mainstream, right? They want to, in that situation, they don't want to be out there. They're probably introverted. But guys, when we let these people slide or
yeah,
do these things, we're enabling them. If we don't stop them, they're gonna keep
yeah,
doing it. And like what these immigrant nurses that are now American nurses have said, they've been doing that for years. Exactly the point. Why have they been doing that for years? Why is nobody talking about it? Well, guess what? Anna, Kay, and Paul are here to talk about it. All right. But please,
yeah,
let's get the ball rolling. Let's start reporting these agencies. Let's get the federal government involved. Let's involve your senators and congressmen to like put bills in place, or make laws, write laws that can protect immigrant nurses, and not only immigrant nurses, every immigrant coming to the U.S. for legal purposes to work, all right? Because we're going to be
yeah.
part of the system. We're going to be paying taxes regardless, right? We're going to be contributing to the community, all right? They need us here for jobs that Americans do not fill regularly, right? So it's about time that we talk about these things.
Yes, I want to add that there will be a lot of nurses who will say, "Okay, it's okay. I don't want, I don't. They call it gulo in Tagalog, or I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want trouble. I just
It's
want
just,
peace."
yeah,
The
Yeah,
hassle.
so they can keep my 30,000 or 40,000 or 50,000 or 60,000. Okay, I'm gonna tell you one more thing. This money can be for your kids' education. This
exactly.
money can be your parent who might be needing medical expenses or financial support. I'm going to ask you, who do you have loyalty to? To your employer who cheated on you or abused you or took advantage of your innocence, or your kids or your family or your parents who needs your help? That money can be used for your family, for your kids, but then you chose your peace of mind and hassle. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna say to you, sorry, but I think that's called kind of selfish in a way, because those are for your kids. But then you chose your own convenience. Then here you are, you're sacrificing, you're leaving your kids in the Philippines or in your own country, and then you're working hard here, but busting your ass, making money for your family. But why did you give your money for them? It means that the sacrifice you did the first year that you were being fooled and cheated, you just gave that loyalty to your employer. So
Right.
please, if you're that in situation, step back, clear your mind, and assess
Mhm.
yourself. Who do you have loyalty with? Is it the bad employer who abused you, or your family who needed these financial resources? That can be your kids' college. Ask
Yeah.
yourself again. I'm not saying that you're a bad person. I think you're just clouded with emotions when you decided to pay that.
Right.
I'm not saying that you should not pay that if you did indeed breach your contract. Yes, of course you have to pay that. But again, if you feel like you're the one who was victimized by a bad employer or exploitation, please talk to the lawyer, because that money is for your family and for yourself, not for bad
Right.
people. Don't incentivize bad practices. So that's
Right.
just one thing that I will tell
And,
everyone.
and also, before you start sending that money for payment to them, consult a lawyer. Most of the time, once you consult a lawyer, that would be a very good investment. The lawyers will talk sense to you because they have to stick to the laws. They
Yeah.
know, they would tell you if it's a fraud, and they would tell you if that money needs to be actually paid. All right. It's kind of
Yeah.
like in medicine. You don't get
Yeah.
to uh, like decide, oh, you know what, the cancer will just dissolve itself. You have to consult a specialist, right? You have to
Yeah. Yeah.
be treated by specialists. They know better than that. So before
Yeah.
you decide out of your own volition, this will be giving me peace of mind,
Yeah.
consult a specialist first, because let me
Yeah.
tell you that, right, it will hound you for the rest of your life. Every waking day you'll remember that you paid someone $50,000, $100,000 after they already cheated you.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I
And
don't
I've
think that
seen a
will
lot
ever
of
give
that.
me
I
peace
said,
of
don't
mind.
pay that. I'm like, they, and I
Yeah,
one case that I saw, they didn't even pay you orientation. I mean, that alone is a breach of contract on their end if they never get paid orientation training when you arrive here in the United States. So why would you pay that? I said no. So, but anyway, now the question is, Paul, Anna, we've been talking about talk to the lawyer, get a lawyer. The question is, what kind of lawyer should they be looking for, right?
right.
There's
Labor
a
lawyer. Look for a
absolutely
labor
labor
lawyer.
lawyer, because if you are going to talk to immigration lawyer, yes, they are sworn by ethics to do,
Mhm.
they have the fiduciary duty to tell you what's best for you, not best for their pockets, right? But I'm going to tell you, some of them, they won't tell you what's best for you. Because why? Because maybe the person that you went to is a lawyer who has business relationship with employers too,
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
Exactly.
he just want to be on the safe side to say, yeah, just pay it, you know.
yeah,
Right? So what I'm saying, I'm not saying that immigration lawyers are bad, but I'm saying if you go to immigration lawyer who has business relationship with employers, you might not get the best information that you need to fight for you as a
right,
laborer. So where
right,
you want to go, I recommend you going to labor lawyer number 1 who knows immigration and who's not attached to any employer in the United States. Okay? I mean, not employer in the United States, but not employer related to that, who petitioned you to come here. So it's like saying, "Hey,
I-
Kay, I have, pancreatic cancer. I need Whipple procedure." We all know
yeah,
we're not going to orthopedic surgeon. We all know we're
right,
not going to plastic surgeon. But who are we going to look for? We need the general surgeon, right? But
hmm,
are all general surgeon hepatobiliary board certified? No.
right,
So what you want to do is a specialized lawyer. I mean, this lawyer who knows immigration and labor, who is not
right.
attached to any agency or staffing company.
Eh, And let
Okay,
me
so
add that.
you're special.
Yeah, I heard that some lawyers have also their hands dirty because they're working both sides, trying to protect ish nurses, but they're also working
Yeah.
with these scrupulous agencies. And some nurses try to hire them. And during court proceedings, the lawyer did not show up until the nurses defaulted. The lawyer protected the employer, not the
Oh my
nurses.
God. Yeah. So that's
I'm
the
not
first
sure
thing you
if
would
that's true.
ask.
Might
Yeah.
be a rumor, might be happening in real life. I cannot give too
Yeah.
many clues. But
Yes.
yes, check the background of the person you're talking to as well,
Yeah.
because there are
The
also
first
bad
thing, yeah.
also.
First thing you should ask is their lawyer, are you connected or are you representing? That's the right term. Do you represent any agency or staffing company? If the answer is yes, you don't have to take their advice fully. Okay? You meant fine,
Yeah,
talk to them. But I'm gonna recommend you, their information might be limited. So I recommend you to look for somebody who is labor and immigration who is not attached to any staffing agency or recruitment firm. Okay?
yeah.
So,
And I,
all
I
right.
like this line in one of the songs that I know. It says, "Road to hell is paved with good intentions." So that's the truth. Do not think that people have good intentions with you because they just want to help. Some of them are actually manipulating you so they can get what they want. It could be money, it could be favors, it could be because they will get commissions from you, or somebody else is
Mhm.
paying them so they can get you. So just be
Yep.
very mindful of that. You were trained for critical thinking. All right, back to you,
Yep.
Kate.
All right, case number 5. What's the answer here, Paul?
Fraud.
Yep.
Clearly.
Yep,
I'll be the first
absolutely.
whistleblower if I was that nurse. I'll be whistleblowing that agency right away.
Yep,
I'm not gonna pay.
absolutely.
That's $100,000 could be a condominium here in Houston that you can already rent for $2,000 a month.
Yep,
You know,
and this
my
is real life. 100. I've heard $200,000 too. The agency told
Right.
her,
It's
you will
very
have to pay
important.
two
Yeah,
hundred thousand. I'm like, sure, write
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I hope
That's a house.
nurses will advocate for themselves first before advocating for the patient.
Yep.
Like, and like you always say, the best form of advocate is to educate. Educate yourself. Like, uh, Clay always saying, spare an amount of hours to learn. And we have DNP, we have Lefora, you must follow the DrNursePaul Facebook and Play. They're all in front of you. So you cannot say, oh, I don't know, I'm not aware. That's a very lame excuse. So please, nurses, advocate for yourself first before you advocate for your patients. Help yourself first, gear up for your US American dream, whatever it takes, like a notebook, got a pen, a highlighter, and if you miss the show, you can always go back. I have so much fun with these case studies, which
I know,
are
it's fun. It's fun.
inspired
Yeah.
by the nurses. I hope this will not, make feel the future USRN or feel bad or I think I might not gonna pursue my American dream. Please don't be there's a whole world out there, and we are here to help you. These places, remember them, take note of them, especially what Dr. Nurse Paul advice and Kay. Kay put a lot of information out there. I copy paste it and put it on my folder or my file. So
Right, right.
if
And
someone's gonna ask me, I'm gonna send them to them.
I
Thank you,
like to
Dr.
share what
Nurse Paul and
Ray.
Kay.
I like to share what Raymond said. Can we flash it? It says always
Yeah.
use the search button. By the way, Raymond is one of my students. He just recently passed the NCLEX. Congratulations, Raymond.
Yay!
Yay.
Congratulations!
And
Yes, you
and
can.
and of course, Raymond is not going to be defrauded because he learned a lot today, right, Raymond? Right, that helps you find the correct agency. Plus, use the search button, right, guys? In the age of Google and ChatGPT and Facebook groups and Twitter and LinkedIn, all you gotta do is copy paste that name of the
Mhm.
agency, the employer, and the city or where you want to put it, where they want to take you, and put it in Google in ChatGPT. See what it says to you. That's the first thing that I do anytime I want to work with someone. I check first what internet tells me first, because usually it will give
Yeah.
you a good idea of who you're
Yeah.
working with, of who you're talking to. Please,
Yeah.
please be mindful of that. Due diligence, nurses. This is for you. This is for your dream. This is for your family. You've always wanted this. You've always looked forward to this, but do not ruin it for you and your future. Okay? We're here to advocate for you, to protect you, to speak up for you, and that's what we're all about. That's what DNP Unlocked is all about. We're disrupting the industry by talking about the elephant in the room,
Yeah.
by exposing
Yeah.
things that people don't want to talk about. All right?
But we want to we want to make sure that we're only disrupting. The only business that's being disrupted here are the illegal ones. The good
Exactly.
ones, they don't care about how we offer it. They're very happy. The good ones are, they don't mind us doing this because they're doing the right thing and the good thing.
Mhm.
The only
Exactly.
disruptive business that we're doing are the human trafficking business, right?
Fraudulent agency or
Fraudulent
promising you cars and
That's the
moons.
business. Yep. So that's the only disruption that we're doing. They're losing money. But hey, you know what? If there are agencies, a lot of them companies doing the right thing, and I always tell, do the right thing and money will follow you.
Mhm.
Agencies that are
Exactly.
doing good, employers that are doing well, the right thing, please, carry on. Don't worry, we got your back. You will receive a lot of reward for doing what you're doing right now. Keep it up. We will be your free marketers. You
Yes.
not have to
Right.
pay any
Don't have to pay
marketing.
us.
You don't have to pay
Exactly.
any recruitment firm. Just do the
Yeah.
right thing. Nurses will bring this word out in the social media. And how many millions or billions of Facebook users are there? The nurses are in Facebook. There are billions of users of Facebook and nurses in Facebook, but in LinkedIn, there's not a lot of nurses there. Okay, so your marketing will be way more in Facebook. And don't worry, we'll be your marketers for free.
Right.
Keep on doing the right thing.
And please, yeah, thank you for doing the right thing for our immigrant nurses. We appreciate you, agencies and employers that are clearing the path for immigrant nurses to not only be the best version of themselves as nurses, but also integrate in the community well. Thanks for what you're doing. We love that. That is exactly what we're here for and advocating for. So please keep doing that for our nurses, and we're gonna be your main supporters.
Yay. Thank you, everyone. Hope
Okay,
you will learn
so
Thank you,
something
everyone.
today.
can you
Yay.
believe it?
It
It's
was
gonna be
fun.
our last
Hours.
Sunday or
2
next week of
hours.
the month of January 2024.
Wow, that was quick.
It
Okay. Thank
was,
you
it
for
was.
staying with us. It's a long video, but I hope this 2-hour video will save you thousands and thousands of dollars from illegal or fraudulent recruiters. Okay?
So now that we spoke about immigration fraud, human trafficking, we have all those case studies. Next week, January 28, our episode 17, reporting immigrant fraud. Of course, we'll discuss a little about it, but next week we will dive into more details, where, who, what, how
Whistleblower
to report.
protected. Labor
Yeah.
laws. Yep.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
an
How you're gonna
interesting
report. Yep.
topic.
That was fun.
I
Thank you guys for hanging along
thank
with
you
us for two
everyone.
hours. Wow. You
Thank you.
guys are very patient. And I hope you guys are
Yeah.
not working right now because the call bell
Yeah.
button.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Nurse Paul and Clay. Have a good day. Have a good Sunday. Nurses, always
Yeah.
advocate
Have
yourself
a great
first.
week.
Always watch DNP Unlocked every Sunday. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. And yes, you can. Bye.
Bye.